Okay, so our team will share with you guys about one of the most famous leaders around the world, Larry Page. And our team thinks that this leader will give to you guys a lot of lesson and many interesting things to learn and discover. So just follow me. Our presentation includes two main parts. As you can see, the first one is about organization and environment, and the second one is about Larry Page. After this slide, I will talk about these two parts in a very detailed ways. Therefore, you can understand more clearly about what you guys have learned during this semester. We will analyze the environment of an organization and the management function of a real leader, Larry Page. We will go to the very first part of our slide, organization and environment. Google is one of the most famous companies around the world. Their big invention is the search engines which we all know, Google. Let's explore how Google developed from the very early time. Are you ready? From the 1990s, the appearance of the term encyclopedia is a reference work or compendium providing summaries of knowledge, either from all branches or from a particular field or discipline, which has become popular with those in the research world, science in general. However, if we just search the daily or simple information, we must open the encyclopedia, which is so complex that is also why the idea of creating the search engines that contain everything on the internet easily and quickly. The first person who invented this tool is Alan Amtich, a student at McGill University. His invention names are keys. A few years later, search engine bars become general with other names like Yahoo look smart for user. The similarities of the idea which performed by an algorithm that sorts pages based on the number of other pages that links to its better organized internet search results. In 1996, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, students at Stanford University, started a project Backrub. The first office was located in the Stanford University dormitory that is also the foundation that evolved Google today. Soon after, the project quickly changed its name to Google and a pun on a mathematical symbol representing the task of gathering information about everything on the internet. Funds were limited in the early days, but thanks to Andy's best design, the co-founder of Sun Microsystems wrote a check worth $100,000 and sent it to Google Inc. after seeing a demo of Google in front of the home of a professor at Stanford University. It marked the first investment of Google. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos was also one of the early investors. Now is the time the couple Page and Brin's mark their headquarters on September 4, 1998, in the garage of Susan Wojcicki, was the first employee of Google and now the CEO of YouTube. And for those who are curious about how the first Google office looked like, we highly recommend you to watch the link on the screen. Don't worry, the link will be attached together with this video. In March 1999, Google moved to an actual office in Palo Alto, California. And also, in the same year, the company improved and received more investment from Kleiner Perkins Caufield, Buyers, Sequoia Capitals. The company moved to Mountain View, California, and an office campus at Google Plus, the current. Beginning in the 2000s, Google introduced Go products and created indispensable legendary imprints as today we still see. In October 2000, Google revolutionized advertising through Google AdWords, keyword advertising. It gives marketers the opportunities to buy relevant keys that appear not to search result, and preference for beginners who want to get the search visibilities they first want. It is thanks to the decision to launch these products that has been returned to Google, a business blog over the past 20 years. In August 2001, Brin and Page invited Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Novell and vice president of Sun Microsystems, to become CEO of Google. In the 1st of April 2002, the company continued to launch the product Gmail, currently a universal email service not only in Vietnam but also in other countries around the world. The same month, but in 2005, Google introduced Maps for the first time with the slogan, "Maps can be useful and fun." At the time of its launch, Google Maps had only a web version, which showed user route and zoomable maps with location information of famous businesses such as hotels and restaurants. It wasn't until 2009 that Google rolled out turn-by-turn GPS navigations for the Maps app on smartphone that things are now much more useful. In June 2005, Google Earth application, a satellite version of Earth Map, were also released by Google. In July 2005, Google acquired Android with $50 million USD and continuously invested and developed it for it to be today, become the most popular mobile operating system in the world. In 2006, a big turning point when Google entered the entertainment field and acquired YouTube, a company with online video sharing service. At the time, financial difficulties. The server system stored big data. Thanks to the giant against its back, YouTube developed and became a leader in the service industry. In November 2008, hiring developers from Mozilla Firefox to launch Google Chrome web browsers in November 2008. Google wants to make sure that people use their products and view their ads on all devices. As a result, in just 4 years, Google browsers had grown rapidly, knocking out both Firefox and Internet Explorer. 10 years later, Chrome is now the dominant web browser in the world with about 60% of global usage market share. And it is also the biggest driving forces behind the successful development of Google search as today. Besides, there are products and services launched by Google to serve the needs of customers. For example, in 2006, they have the Google Calendar, Google Finance, Google Doc to be public, or in 2012, they have released the Google Lab, and also they have much more application that's very useful for the customer. And yeah, this is totally amazing because after 10 years as CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt became the executive chairman of the company until 2015. In August 2015, Google folded itself into a new company called Alphabet with Page as its CEO. The new parent company includes the business like Nest, Google X, Fiber, and Google Venture under its umbrella. Sundar Pichai is the name of Google CEO, and he remained in the position until today. Well, we can see that Google had truly gone down in his history with great success, and it's made the company become the tech giants, which we know that is the legend of technologies. Okay, and now I will spill the beans because Google, beside the fact that it's really successful company, the giants had also experienced many difficulties and had failed decision making times. Let's discover what is their failure. Okay, so next we are going to discover some of Google failure. Okay, the first is in 1999, Google was almost acquired by Excite, which is the leading search engine at the time, but this company turned down the offer of Google. So it's kind of hard for the two young men at the very early time of Google, and it turned out the most value of Google at that point of time. And second is when Google sold the Motorola mobility unit in that's they bought in 2012, and they sell with the price that's nearly 10 billion. It's less than the amount it paid. And the third is when they decided to launch the Google Plus in 2011. That is a social network researched and operated by Google. And wow, this is amazing because it's aiming to challenge other social network, linking other products such as Drive, Blogger, and YouTube. And in April 2019, Google spent hundreds of millions of USDs, but it has to bankrupt this project because it could not compete with other social network, especially Facebook. Wow, the name that you hear every day. And the fourth is in March 20, 22nd. Yeah, it's 2010. Google were banned across China after 4 years of operations because it contained censorship policies, and Google also lost a huge market. Okay, so let's discover continuously its next is when Google enhanced energy's product must also face competition also styles such as Google Glass or Google Reader and so on. And the final is on July 18, 2018, and Google will find up to 5 billion with allegation of violating antitrust law on Android from European Union. The European Union regulator, the European Commission, has determined that Google had prioritized its own shopping service in ads display on the Chrome browsers, preloaded on most by default. Android smartphone, Google is likely to face more legal challenges ahead on its path because it's simply one of the most successful business in the world. For 20 years in 2018, Google had truly gone down in history with great success. Google search engines had a 19.9% share of global online search market, according to StatCounter. Its Android operating system accounts for 76.8% of world mobile market share. Chrome browsers hold 95.7% of global market share. Google YouTube video server reach 90% of all digital video viewers in the world, except for the Chinese population. 1.58 billion people watch people on a YouTube platform at least once a month, according to e-marketers. While Alphabet, the parent of Google reports that it topped 100 billion in annual sales for the first time in Google 20-year history. The milestone is testament to the strength of Google ad sales business. Google's success is the success of a brand. The name Google has become a multilingual word for search, and that's it proved by Google influential on global culture. And now let's move to the next part. This is about the mission, vision, value of Google. Let's check it out. And the first part is about the Google mission statement. Google states that our mission is to organize the world information and make it useful and accessible to all. For global information organization, Google has created a toolbar to search information globally on fields applied quickly, highly accurately, relevant and constantly update Google. For instance, a person can access the search engine wherever they are, and in the same case such as YouTube, Google Assistant, Photo, and Google Cloud. And wow, over the past 25 years, Google has released many products and services with more features associated with Google mission. Okay, so let's take Google Drive for a symbolic example. Because it's not only help us to store information, it includes big data, but also to share with everyone to manage and sync on different devices. That help us, people, to be less concerned about lost information on the server or help us to store image, even memory of each individual. Google also ensure the security of its user by helping them to share and upload their own personal information with peace of mind. In addition, there are products such as Gmail, Google Docs, Google Maps, and so on, launched to server user and making everyday tasks easier, such as sending a message, achieving, writing report, slideshow, or going to a location. And yeah, for 25 years, Google has never forgotten this mission. So it has come out strongly as an empowering firm which channel it has designed and integrated to ensure its users are treated to limitless source of information. And that's it, the Google mission statement. And now we gonna move on to the next part. This is about Google vision statement. And yeah, they have said that the vision is to provide access to the world information in one click. This vision statement shows the company wants to give its customer easy and speedy access to information without a struggle. Google has used backlink analysis technology and designed a system that ensures the least amount of complexity for organizing information, gathering and indexing from web pages. Okay, so in this way, all customer need to do is to search for what he or she needs and leave the rest to the innovative feature integrated into Google platform. Wow, which is part 2 part, and we are going to go to the final part. Is about the Google value. And yeah, Google value is focused on the user and all else will follow. Fast is better than slow. Democracies on the web work. You can make money without doing evil. There's always more information out there, and great just isn't good enough. Google value drive the operations of the company. They also come in handy in creating a culture that makes it a goal for a company in the technology, software, and cloud computing sector. And within on its values, Google lays emphasis on the importance of the user. This is also the reason that in 2015, Google certainly announced a restructuring and established parent company, Alphabet, that the company that we know at the first part. This is so that Google can focus on the main segment, multinational technologies. Well, and also have to serve user to organize and search for information in the most accurate, fastest, and the most useful way. Okay, that's it. And let's move to the next part. It is about the Google organizational structure. Okay, so let's discover. Oh yeah, you can see that there is a pictures of Google structure on the screen, and let's we talk more detail about this. Okay, so you can see at the top of the picture there is the board of director, and the lower is executive department, and the below there's some group and function. And according to the knowledge that we have learned, and our team is going to conclude that Google structures is amalgamation of matrix approach and flat structure. Oh wow, we have just passed the first part of our presentation, and yeah, we also have many slides after, so don't wait so long. We are going to the next part. It's about analyzes the environment of Google. Okay, so as we have learned, the environment of organization includes two parts, the external environment and internal environment. So we will discover the external, and the first part is about the task environment. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, that's the first factor of the task environment that our team are going to discover is about the customer. And we divided this group into two parts. It's about the user, and the next is about the advertiser. So let's move on. Okay, about the user. So in 2020, there are nearly 4 billion people using Google around the world. They have a huge number of users because Google is easy to use and search fast. We can also search by image. Besides, there are various tools, for example, Gmail, Google Doc, Calendar, Google Maps, and so on, as you can see on the screen. And besides, the most important things of Google is all of them product is totally free, and they speak on how if you want to use. Okay, so let's move to the part of advertiser. And yeah, through the picture you can see that Google is just the leader in the world of advertising. And yeah, Google is the biggest platform to use advertising. And yes, they sell ad space through the Google Search, Google Display Network, video YouTube ads, Gmail ads, and Google Shopping ads. Okay, so by doing this way, Google aim is to help some business to approach nearly to customer, and moreover is also help broaden the Google market share, which bring more value and revenue for them. And as you can see on the picture, there is the pictures of the Google ad revenue share by property. This is the pie chart, and Wow, we can see very amazing because Google Search and other that play Google sell ads and they earn about 89 no 98.1 dollar. Wow, that's just a huge number and that's make Google become a very like valuable company, right? Let's move to the whole new part. Is it about the competitor? So as you can know that nowadays there are many types of search engines and Google, even though they are a big successful company, but they absolutely have some competitor. And Bing is one of that. Bing is a Microsoft search engines. And why we say that Bing is Google big competitor? Because Bing have ads price lower and can search image sharper and higher quality. However, when we talk about the number of user, Google was gonna beat Bing because there are huge user of Google. You know what? There are 91.86%, while Bing only get a few 2.71%. Wow, that just make a big difference between these two companies. And with that huge number of user, how can another can beat Google and be the leader in this area, right? Okay, so otherwise, Google also have a competitor in China, which is Baidu, because in China is where Google is banned, and the number one search engines of there is Baidu, and it account for 76.5% of user. Yeah, that just make a huge number, right? Okay, so not only in the search field, but also in the entertainment area, Google also have some competitor. They are Netflix, TikTok, One It and so more. In 2019, YouTube brought more than $15 billion in advertising revenue. There are about 2 billion people using YouTube. However, TikTok, a new whole type of entertainment, had risen above YouTube and become the highest earning non-game monies in the world. We know about this information according to a Vietnamese newspaper about the economic cafe app. Besides, Google competitors in advertising are Facebook, Amazon, Apple, and so on. Google has increased. However, Google still accounts for a higher percentage of the major market than its competitor. Yeah, as you can see at the graph that our team has shown. Yeah, and you can know more about our sentences or our idea have shared. Now, let's move to the next part. Is it about the supplier? Okay, so Google shared that they are now working with more than 1,000 suppliers around the world. They manage their suppliers and empower them to do their best. They also identify, evaluate supplier health frequently to solve the problem and recover them. Moreover, they also provide workers with clean toilet facility, food, hot water for bathing and showering. That's just an amazing place to work, right? So let's move to the final factor. It is labor market. So Google labor force is creative, intelligent, and patient. They have a huge number of them because Google is a multinational corporation. In 2019, there are more than 114,000 employees of Google. They try to give a comfortable workplace for their staff and help them to be more innovative, creative, and effective in working. Google just so empathy for their employee that just make these companies become the most place that many people want to work at that. Yeah. Okay, we have just finished the task environment, and now we move to the next type of environment in the external environment, which is general environment. Okay, now let's move to the next factor. Is it about the economic? And in January 2021, the online search engine Bing accounted for 6.84% of the global search market, while the market leader Google had a market share of 85.86%. Chinese search engines Baidu's market share was 0.55%. Ever since the introduction of Google Search in 1997, the worldwide market share of all search engines has been rather lopsided. Google had dominated the search engine market, maintaining a 92.47% market share as of January 2021. The majority of Google revenue are generated through advertising. The company had also expanded its service to mail, productivity tools, enterprise product, mobile device, and other ventures. As a result, Google earned one of the highest tech company revenue in 2020, with roughly 181.69 billion US dollar. Okay, so the rapid growth of developing country is also a factor of economic that affect Google. Google operates domains in roughly 200 countries and territory and offers service in over 100 languages. Some estimates of the company market share in online search are as high as 92%, and its Android operating system power more than 2 billion devices worldwide. And the final of the economic factors is a gradual decrease in the cost of renewable energies. Currently, Google procures an amount of renewable energies equivalent to its consumption on an annual global basis. But for Google, this 100% renewable energy purchasing milestone is just the beginning. In addition to continuing to aggressively move forward with renewable energy technologies like wind and solar, the company will work to achieve much more challenging long-term goal of powering its operation on a region-specific 24/7 or 24/7 basis with clean zero carbon energies. And yeah, next is about the socio-cultural. It is one of the factors in the general environment. And yeah, you can see on the screen that there is a graph and it shows the number of people using social media platform in 2018, and you can see that that is the trend in increasing the use of social media of people. um yeah, and it just affect Google a lot. And now let's move to the data privacy. A huge part of Google revenues is based on advertisement on their different platforms, but with the rising concern of internet users about their personal data being collected to target with ads, a preference towards ad-free browsing is on the rise. Internet browsers that provide ad blocking facilities are being used to remove advertisement from Google platform, and this has led to lesser brands seeking to advertise on search platform. Besides, they also have the rising popularities of other mediums. And now let's move to another factor of social culture. It is about the demographic. As you can see, the share of traffic attributes to undermine decline from 69% in October 2014 to 47% in May 2016. That's why Google is attributing many more users to age bracket than this were 2 years ago, and only about half of the paid search traffic to this advertiser can be attributed to user tied to age bucket. Taking a look at a similar chart for the gender demographic, we find that the share of traffic that cannot be attributed to a gender declined from 62% in October 2014 to 41% in May 2016. This means it's slightly easier for Google to assign user to gender than an age bucket, which makes sense given that Google is using user declare information in Google account as well as other signal Google collects to infer these assignments. Another important point come up with the gender data when we find that Google attribute roughly the same amount of traffic to male and female through the first several months of tracking. However, since September 2015, females have accounted for at least 40% of traffic every month. And now let's move to another factor in the general environment, which is technologies. And the first one, which is AI and cloud tech. As the technological environments become more usable by both individuals and cooperation, Google is able to integrate more features onto its platform. The recent increment on the usage of AI has benefited the brand since its level of AI-based innovation is quite high. Apart from Amazon, Google is the biggest name in the AI and cloud integrated service markets, and this industry is projected to have one of the highest growth rates in recent time. And besides, they also have the smartphone generation, and Google have a very famous smartphone which named Pixel, and the recent tie-up between Google and Android has allowed it to have a huge market since the usage of smartphone is higher than any other gadget. While Google has been unable to penetrate this market directly through its smartphone, its partner with Android have proven to be exceptionally profitable as it is now viewed as a part of every Android-based smartphone. The brand is also looking to launch other smart devices and capitalize on the current tech trend of such devices. And now let's move to another factor in the general environment, which is natural. Google, as an organization, needs to address environment-related issues that are currently plaguing the world. All corporations are expected to reduce their carbon footprint, and Google, being one of the IT giants, is expected to lead such stances. The company has tied up with the United Nations to take certain environment-friendly steps that will also incorporate the uses of technology. The company will be providing data to government organizations and the public through its satellite that will allow them to make the better decision regarding environmental concerns. Such moves are highly appreciated and can help reinvent the brand in the public eyes. The next is about the international, and we have the international relation. The biggest political factor affecting Google as of now is the Cold War between the USA and China. In the current Trump presidency, the state of affairs between these two countries has become highly hostile, and as a result, huge tariffs have been placed on imports. This adversely affects tech-based companies such as Google, since they heavily rely on imports to Chinese markets for their revenue. And now let's move to the final factor in the general environment, which is political. Yeah. Okay, so let's move to the first one, which is GDPR, and a flurry of recent law regarding data privacy has been working against Google mode of operations. As stated before, the company is highly dependent on running tariffs ads on its platform for its revenue. And for this purpose, collecting private data required as a country across the world are beginning to implement law that place embargoes on a collection of private data. Google is having a hard time running its target ads. Besides, it have the copyright law because various new laws are being placed that restrict the uploading of copyright information on Google platforms such as YouTube. This may affect the broadness of the content available on such platform and thereby discrete traffic. This will further reduce the ability of Google to run adverts and reduce its revenue standards. Oh my god, so thank you guys for following me to understand more about the external environment of Google. And now we are going to discover the rest part of environment, which is internal environment. And we also know by another name, which is cultural environment. So don't wait any longer, let's go. Martin said that work and place are words used to describe the same thing under different conditions. However, with Google, they create an environment in which work and place are a combination. Google work culture is now filled with huge and plentiful perks, unconventional or weird office design, and amazing freedom, flexibilities, and transparencies, and among other things. Google company's culture is flexible. It gives freedom to the employees to work in a way that suits them the most. Employees can plan out their schedule and work on their terms to increase their level of creativity and productivity. Besides, building a sense of communities is one of the steps to create a positive company culture. Many small kitchens can be spotted around Google or dining table for employees to chat while having their lunch as some of the ways to bring people together. This not only create communities but also efficiency and more opportunity for innovation. And yeah, it is amazing because Google highlights the atmosphere of innovation. Employees are suggested to think outside of the box and believe in crazy ideas. And yeah, Google has been known for its unique office design. Their designs are done for various purposes such as space for Googler to come together, idea production, and the triggering of maximum creativity while also ensuring employee happiness. In order to create the perfect workspace, everything from ceiling and floor from the effect of different color palettes is analyzed. And next, do you know what that value is considered as a learning tool for Google to improve and do bigger and better things? In fact, at Google X Laboratory, staff is rewarding when they failing. According to Astro Stellar, Google X director, he says you must reward people for failing. If not, they won't take risks and make big breakthrough. If you don't reward failure, people will hang on a doomed idea for fear of the consequence. That's waste time and sap on organization spirit. If you shame them when they come back, you tell them that they failed you because they didn't find a modern. No matter how diligent they look for or how cleverly they look for it, this code will quick out your company. And next, Google embraces the most important element of an employee relationship, trust. Google willingness to trust their employees is that breeds creativity above and beyond performance and job satisfaction. So, conclusion that Google mission statement and vision statement reflect the impactful position of these companies in the term of what is want to achieve. Google mission statement define the state strategies of the business, such as the development of new product. In a similar way, the company vision statement pushes the organization to achieve new heights, such as through the rapid innovation. And these statements are used as standard when making choices. Okay, and now it is about the core value. Having a specific set of core value is an essential part of building a company culture that stands out from others. Google core value were first outlined when the companies were only a few years old. On the screen, we are sharing with you guys 10 things that we know to be true that Google has sharing. And those core values might illustrate what a Googler could look like, focus on the user, skillful on what they are doing, ambitious, democratic, and creative. They also have the companies to hire people who are suited to the culture and reinforce important behavior. Okay, so next is it about an interesting part. This is about the logo of Google. Google cultures about innovation is also demonstrated on the logo itself. The learned eye with the color green seems to stand for the fact that Google does not mind being different and trying new things. The innovation part of Google has always been there since the beginning and is shown on the logo. Besides, the Google logo also have the rotated E as a reminder that Google will always be a bit unconventional. And besides, we also set you the pictures of Google logo changed from 1995 to 2009 and from 2015 to now, and you can see the difference from the past to the present, and you see that Google have changed this logo many times. Next part is about the symbol. In 2015, a new logo were introduced alongside, which is an update favicon. For those who question what is a favicon, we are going to explain. A favicon is a small icon that browsers use in several different ways to identify a website. Many browsers first use favicons in browser tab, displaying the icon next to the page title. Many designers noticed that Google's symbol is slightly similar to the 1993 logotype of the clothes brand Gymboree. Both symbols have almost the same shape, but with a different color palette. It's so Google is not afraid to break the rules. In addition, the color of blue, green, yellow, and red in the white background also good at attracting users. To date, Google Doodle have replayed the symbol more than 2,000 times on the search engines. It is also a special thing that many people can realize when they search on Google. Through the doodle, users can learn about important people or events. However, the continuous change of doodles is a way to show the evidence that Google is always working for creativity and innovation. And this slide, we are going to show you some of unique Google Doodle. They are so interesting and a good ways to transfer the information. Next part is about the heroes. So, if you are seeking out a leadership role model, Larry Page is definitely the one to look for. Recently, tapped as Fortune 2014 Business Person of the Year and launched by Forbes as being one of the 10 most powerful people. He's number 9. Page is undoubtedly a success. Larry Page is inspirational for Google employees, is evidenced by the company's continued innovation and great success, and is even more evident in his personal case with the organization. He has garnered a 96% approval rating on employee-driven career site Glassdoor. A quiet introvert who will truly listen to other ideas, Larry Page is a leadership role model. Well, now we just move to the next part. Is it about the Google slogan? And Google motto has always been "Don't be evil" since 2000. An employee generally apply those words to how we serve our users, but it's more than that. It's about doing things more generally, such as following the rules, treating others with respect, and so on. However, when Google is under a different mother company's alphabet, the slogan has changed to "Do the right thing." Okay, and now let's move to the part of ceremonies. So each year, Google will celebrate its birthday with a special Google Doodle for the search engines, and we have take a photo, and this is about the Google 22nd birthday. And as you can see that there is a G's, the letter G's sitting in front of a laptop doing a video con, and the video con include the rest of the letter Google, and we will spell OOGLE, and this is also appropriate for the current situation that we are having right now. Well, I mean that the idea is very, very fit with the situation, and that's just amazing. And that is about the past of the story of Google. So there are some of employees at Google shared us that once Googler, always a Googler, and once past employees, these people that work at the Google X-Pay and say that alumni support is one of the best benefits of the job. Ex-owner group are some of the largest supporters in the world, and if you are an ex-owner, you will know someone in any country you visit. And wow, we are just going to the final part of the culture environment. We are going to explore about the type of cultures. Google is definitely a corporation with an adaptability cultures. It is always rooted in innovation. Google will take risks in order to create the next big thing in the industry. Along with its flexible and fun working environment, employees can stay motivated with the goal of breaking the mold. Oh yeah, and I have just finished my presentation, and I have a question that are there any of you guys have learned a little bit more about Google? So if you have any question or any like you don't know more and you don't want to explore more about this search engine or about Google, don't hesitate to connect with our team. And the next part, Tong are going to sharing you guys something that's very interesting about the management function of Larry Page. So Tong, hit it.
And now let's get started with the introduction of Larry Page. Behind every successful business is an effective leader. Google is the most famous company, which is now worth over $500 billion. Indeed, Google cannot be successful if it does not have some excellent managers, and Larry Page is one of those managers who contributed a lot to Google's success. Larry Page was born in 1973 in Michigan. He is an inventor, engineer, and one of the founders of the famous company brand Google. Since he grew up in a unique environment which always had people and stuff relating to computer field, there would be no surprise when he shared that he was so attracted to the computer topic at 6 years old. Page used to hang around at his home, which was usually a mess, with computers, science and technology magazines and popular science magazines all over the place, an environment which he immersed himself. Besides, his parents both had roots in computing, while Page's father was a computer science professor at Michigan State University, and his mother, Gloria, was an instructor at computer programming at Lehman Brothers College at the same institutions. These things had happened at Page's very early point of life had created for him an interest in computing and the dream of inventing things. On the road to inventing the most popular search engine globally, Page has spent most of the time of his youth learning about computers and trying to make his passion come true. During the years of studying at Stanford University, Larry Page met Sergey Brin, who later became a partner in creating Google with him. They worked together on a research project originally called Backrub. Backrub analyzed how web pages connected to backlink while existing search engines had a much less in-depth approach. After realizing their potential success, Page and Brin started reworking Backrub in a more sophisticated search engine, which led to the invention of Google. However, both students wanted to finish their PhDs. Therefore, Page tried to sell Google at the price of $1.6 million to a company called XI, better known as S.com, a company that gives ads related to what you search in 1978. Opposite to what they expected, XI turned down Page's offers and offered for just a half. He tried others in the Silicon Valley, but no one would interested. During the time that they already had some search engines, not many people thought about the potential of Google in the future. It turned out that became the most failure of Larry Page with his first business. And then, how did Larry Page confront with failure? If you don't know, Larry Page's motto is "Fear of failure should not stop anyone." As a result, two young men set out to run the company themselves, with Larry Page as the CEO. In 1988, they secured the first round of funding, similar to Apple and Amazon. Page and Brin used some of their investor money to open up Google's first headquarters, a garage-turned office space in Menlo Park, California. The first version of Google went live in August 1996 and was originally hosted on the Stanford's website, google.stanford.edu. By 1999, Google was a thriving company. It had grown from 2 employees to several hundred and from zero funding to over 25 million. In a big company like that, things about how to manage employees effectively became an important problem with the leader. Larry Page, during his time being a CEO, had used some methods to execute his functions in management. The section below will describe more detail about his management functions in Google. Now, it's the part about analyzing the management function of Larry Page. You should trust your instinct even when everyone says you are crazy. This is Page's belief remained from his young age to now on. In the beginning, Page did not receive much support from people around him. However, the way he did was just focusing on what he believed. Larry Page's perseverance changed his life by making him become a billionaire at a very young age, 27 years old. And as you can see, Forbes lists him as one of the world's most powerful people. And one of Larry Page's famous quotes is that always deliver more than expected. Due to his beliefs, helps him to Page always is now encouraging for the company in the future. Also, due to his beliefs, Page is now encouraging a working environment that allows his employers to believe in their crazy ideas. Page thinks that unusual ideas can change the world someday, just as same as the way he did with Google. He also believes that just because someone is junior doesn't mean they don't deserve respect and cooperation. This can explain his leadership philosophy, and his philosophy is, "My job as a leader is to make sure everybody in the company has great opportunities and that they feel they are having a meaningful impact and are contributing to the good of society." Besides, Page stated that Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. The most amazing what this company is experimenting which is creating a way to bring internet to 2/3 of the world living without it. Because we cannot access most of the world's information if we don't have the internet. Page spoke at TED about how Google plans to connect the world by building a worldwide mesh of balloons. It is a crazy idea. Page still does not feel he has gone far enough. He cannot bear the truth that many companies keep doing the same things for dozens of years. He plans to invent something wild and will not only help humanity, but get them adopted by users. To achieve that ideal plan, Page continues to rise every morning, and his large team of computer science prodigies continue to work, constantly implementing new features. Innovation is a big motivation for Page. And one of Larry Page's famous quotes is that always deliver more than expecting. This helps him to always set goals for the company in the future. Now we come to the POLC framework. Started off, we have planning. In 25 years of operation, Google has many strategic decisions. Some of them went up, such as the Google Drive or the Google Meeting, and some of them went down, like the Google Project error. However, Google are not accepting failure and continue to learn and grow up and become a bigger and better company. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the ambitious founders of Google, with their hands and mind in a mere 6 years, from 1998, the year that Google was founded, to 2004, the year that Google released stock votes on the US stock market, has become a billionaire. One of the most important factors is the strategic strategy they devise. In the past 5 years, we can see that the company's strategies have been aimed at business expansion, focusing on key areas and integrating, connecting, and serving customers, especially the huge investment to research super projects toward AI and connect global humans. In the period of 5 years from 2015 to 2020, Google had many changes, from having a new parent company to buying HTC to dealing with the COVID-19. To narrow the scope of Google activities and turn their company into a multidisciplinary technology corporation, Google suddenly announced a restructuring of the organization by establishing Alphabet and moved its subsidiaries such as Calio, Waymo, etc. to there. It is related to the diversification strategy. Larry Page has become CEO of Alphabet, Sergey Brin has assumed president, and Eric Schmidt has become chairman. Sundar Pichai is also the CEO of Google. This strategy focused mainly on the internet for Google's company. The restructuring helps the company expand its business, research, and linkage with Google's technological achievements, like Google X with Waymo, that involves developing a technology for driverless car, or Project Loon that aims to bring internet access to everyone by creating an internet network of balloons flying to the stratosphere. Along with that is the implementation of super projects that have a global impact. Google is serious about developing mobile phone hardware, trying to be able to manufacture the phone by itself. And Google's job is to imagine the future with projects related to virtual reality devices, hardware technologies. So Google bought HTC for $1.1 billion. When seeing HTC financial difficulty in Taiwan, Google quickly grasped the opportunity and bought HTC patent and entire design department instead of buying all of HTC, especially the HTC VR device, Ultra Pixel technology, quite worth it for the manufacturer. The superiors brought HTC employees to work with Google's engineering department to research Google's own hardware. Thanks to the support of Google, Ultra Pixel technology develops better instead of receiving criticism for not being as expected from users as before. In 2018 and 2019, video has become one of the most useful tools for advertising, so Google decided to focus on changing its video marketing strategy. According to American Institute of Marketing, the average American receives 10,000 messages from brands per day. So marketers promote their brands with this mass coverage tool that can make a brand appearance become limited and forgotten. Realizing that and wanting to stand out for its brand video ads, with this strategy, the superiors assigned Megan Holler, Google's video marketing expert. He, with his colleague, target video ads that encourage action from the needs of viewers, reach the right audience, and repeat messages in a variety of formats throughout the practice user experience. When implementing this campaign, the company was effective in both brand awareness and sales goals. Specifically, brand awareness increased by 20% and checkout click-through rates increased by 113% compared to the previous campaigns. In the COVID-19, Google has allowed Google Hangout Meets premium features, Stadia Pro version, that are free for users to organize learning, online meeting, and entertainment. Google found that COVID-19 has impacted search ad campaigns of many industries. As you can see from the chart, from January to August of 2020, COVID-19 has dominated almost the interest of the entire society, far beyond searches for news like weather, politics, Google, Facebook, Amazon, etc. Google wants to help users know important information about COVID-19 cases in a given area, so that users can make better informed decisions about where to go and what to do soon. So in 2020, Google Maps releases COVID-19 layer on app. From taking key data sources from Johns Hopkins University, New York Times, and Wikipedia, World Health Organization or WHO, Google Maps will show you 7-day average number of confirmed coronavirus cases in each area per 100,000 people. Areas of the map will be color-coded based on case rate, and a label will show whether the cases are going up or down. After researching the customer experience of this new feature, Google has updated a design to help users easily distinguish different types of terrain, notify users of the best route to move, and areas that are affected by restrictions banned on movement. Google has invested billions of dollars from its search ads business to digitally map the world, drawing 1 billion users on average every month to its free navigation app. This strategic decision-making not only helps Google to pursue its core value, focus on the user, or else we follow, the need for information crosses all borders, but also help Google integrate with users, demonstrate their sensitivity and understanding the needs of the whole society. Google's success is the success of a brand. The name Google has become a multilingual verb for search, and that is the proof of Google's influence on global culture. Then we continue with organizing. Larry Page wanted to build an organizational structure that can help his employees focus on the right things, saw a bigger picture, and found different ways to generate ideas. Besides, the structure is also played an important role in operating Google's desire on creating innovative and creative products which improves people's lives. This is the reason why Page decided to use the cross-functional types of Google's structure. The cross-functional organizational structure embraced by Google is not a team approach to the management and is horizontally structured. It includes two main characteristics, which are function-based definition and product-based definition. With function-based definition, this definition refers to the way that Larry Page divided the company into small groups. These groups had each function, such as engineering, marketing, sales, and products, etc. The top of each group is an executive who will manage the project, then report to the board of directors. This side of structure also has business processes such as top-down and bottom-up communications, as well as strategic management to solve problems. With product-based definition, in 2015, Larry Page decided to change from the corporation to a limited liability corporation called Alphabet. Alphabet is a way that Google showed their expansion in different areas from space exploration to health. Therefore, Page gathered his employees into many teams of development such as cloud software, Android system, YouTube, Waymo, and so on. This characteristic of organization structure will have the company focus on Larry Page and Alphabet's vision and mission. Larry Page saw a point that if employees just focus on their function and products, the company will operate like a puzzle without connecting. Through its flatness, the company's organizational structure enables employees, teams, and groups to bypass middle management and communicate directly with upper management. Also, employees can have more relationships with their colleagues on different projects. This will boost the sharing and meeting between them to share information belonging to other areas of the company. This structural feature is a major contributor to the innovation for novel products that help in business diversification. Besides, this characteristic of the organizational structure fits with Google's culture. Larry Page encouraged an open environment. Therefore, his employees can be motivated and satisfied with their work. Google's management team comprises a number of executive officers, including Larry Page as the CEO and the co-founder. According to Google, Larry's responsibilities include everyday operations in Google. He also leads the organization in technology strategy and product development. Larry is Google's first CEO. He and Sergey Brin managed to grow the organization to at least 200 employees and achieve high profitability. Larry was Google's president of products between 2001 to 2011. Eric E. Smith is Google executive chairman. He also leads the organization in technology strategy and product development. Other members of the management include the senior vice president, corporate development, and the chief legal officer responsible for leading global teams of Google, communications, public policy, merger, development, and acquisition. The senior vice president and the chief financial officer are responsible for Google's financial management and operations. Larry Page has said that he used to believe that over time companies tend to get comfortable doing the same thing, just making incremental changes. But in technology industry, revolutionary ideas drive the next big growth area. Therefore, Page always dreams of having a diversity of perspectives and experiences, and the fair hiring process is the first step of getting there. The hiring process is an important part of Google's culture. Googlers care deeply about their team and the people who make them up. The search engine company also cares about building a more representative and inclusive workplace that begins with hiring. Google emphasizes the passion and ambition of candidates, although they also encourage skillful employees. Innovation and creativity are two qualities that Google sees the most. Because they said on Google Careers website that the more skill you have, the better. But it's hard to build a fulfilling career on something that doesn't excite you. If we hire you based on your skill, we will get a skilled employee. If we hire you based on your skill and your enduring passion and your distinct experiences and perspectives, we will get a Googler. Without excitement, people will focus only on how to finish the work instead of how to create something new and life-changing. Page's vision from that cannot come true. Most of Google's employees are engineers. They wanted to work independently and hated being micromanaged. Besides, Page is trying to create a cross-functional organizational structure to boost the innovation and collaboration of employees. Therefore, during the early days of Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin wondered whether the search engine company need managers at all. Do managers matter? That big question just makes leaders of Google thinking many times. To find the answer, Google launched Project Oxygen. Project Oxygen's results show that manager quality does have an influence on performance. The project started in 2008 by asking employees to finish a survey. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, these are the top 10 behaviors Google's People Innovation Lab concluded that its best managers share. Soon afterward, managers received reports with numerical score and individual comments from employees. The reports related to individual score to the 8 behaviors of the best manager. Besides, they also included information about ways to practice effectively and suggested actions each manager could take to improve. Some with unfavorable score in coaching might get a recommendation to take a class on how to develop personalized balanced feedback. As a result, Google has their managers have a training course. They realized the importance of Google Manager in a large company. Their training actually became a culture of the search engine company. In addition, Larry Page decided to have research about this problem, being that he really wants to organize the work at Google effectively. Then we have leading. Larry Page is known as the co-founder and the CEO of Google. His leadership is a good example of a democratic and transformational style. He has helped Google become developed and also inspired and motivated many people with his talent for leadership. Researchers suggest that good democratic leaders possess specific traits that include honesty, intelligence, courage, creativity, competence, and fairness. Strong democratic leaders inspire trust and respect among followers. Larry Page showed the incredible traits clearly during his time being Google's CEO, and one of the traits is being an introvert. Besides being a genius of technology, Larry is such a modest person. He did not often appear to the media. Page is an introvert, which makes him the appropriate leader for Google and helps him focus on product innovation rather than competitor analysis. Moreover, his employees describe him to be a silent person who really listens to people, get them advice in their work. Another of his traits is integrity, and it is shown when Larry restructured the corporation to reduce the bureaucracy in the organization when he became the CEO in April 2011. This is a big change in Google's structure. Larry Page claimed that this move would allow Google for bringing cleaner operations and more accountability. Larry Page also showed responsibility in his democratic style. He has said that if we had been driven by money alone, we would have sold almost immediately. He wanted to make a tool in which people could find everything they needed. Larry and Sergey Brin had worked really hard to create Google. Our mission was to organize global information and make it accessible and useful to everyone, and Google had kept its promise to become the most popular search engine. Another of his characteristics is creativity. Larry Page has said that if you're not doing some things that are crazy, then you're doing the wrong things. Larry Page has a myriad of crazy ideas. Some of them have become reality through Google's project. He has a specific perspective on other people. He suggested that we should think differently. From that, he can give decisions for Google's strategies. Larry Page also has a passionate, courageous, and fearless characteristic. He realized problems in human life. From that, he worked hard with a passion to make life better and easier. His interests spread out from health to socio-economic issues. Without fearlessness, in 2009, Larry Page started to invest in making self-driving cars, which was thinking of a dream, but he just smiled and believed that it would be the future of traffic. This one will help reduce traffic accidents, keep safe for people, and save energy. Then Google has become a pioneer in making them name Waymo. Nowadays, thanks to Google, we are not unfamiliar with the word self-driving cars. Larry Page also experimented on exciting projects such as Android. When the Android project ran out of money, Andy Rubin, who invented Android, met and suggested selling it to Samsung. However, Andy was rejected. After that, Rubin met the founders of Google and got accepted. Android then became the most popular operating system in the world and the most successful business incorporated. Otherwise, Page is ready to cancel projects he thinks that are not potential. For example, Google Health. With all these things, we can see that Larry Page with some personality traits makes him easier to display democratic leadership behaviors. Now we come to Larry Page leadership styles. During the early years of Google's foundation, Larry Page was criticized because of the authoritative leadership. In 2001, Larry Page had dismissal of dozens of project managers, which was big news. He did that because he believed engineers cannot be led by non-engineers and not satisfied with their performance. Besides, Google's employees said that Page also rejected their ideas immediately if he found it unworthy of further development, without thinking how it would affect employees' motivation. Otherwise, Page always got ready to join personally in almost single talks. He also encouraged aggressive culture in the company. He was truly the most aggressive Googler. After stepping down as a CEO, Larry Page returned to the role in 2011. The comeback of Page was totally different from the past with a more mature attitude to his leadership role. In his return, Page prepared much better in terms of his management strategy with delegating and goal setting. Instead of a stubborn leadership attitude in the early days, Page became more open to listen and think carefully about employees' ideas. To make accelerating decision-making for Google, Page had used an administration of the New York City mayor's idea. Nowadays, Googlers are considered to be masters of technology. They are significantly empowered, although most of them are quite young. They report the importance highlighted on developing and working towards shared goals, backed up by huge transparency to the degree that, through the internet, they have access to the details of every active project. Page wants to make a comfortable office environment where people can do their best. By that, he can attract more talented people to come to Google and achieve his ambition of remaining one of the market leaders, not only for some years but for generations. Larry Page believed in innovation. He wants to turn the impossible into possible, and that is how Google created. We should be building great things that don't exist. This thinking helped him promote Google's radical-seeming projects. When Larry Page took office as CEO in April 2011, he realized the obsolete and bureaucracy in his organization. He wanted to change it by restructuring the corporation, by replacing departments into 7 fields focused on products. Those leaders of these fields are called L-Team. They are empowered and responsible for departments they run. Wall Street reported that Larry Page encouraged each member of his team to give 60-word updates about projects they develop on a regular basis during the day. Larry Page appears personally interested in harmonizing people's work-life balance to increase their satisfaction while assuming most people have a positive outlook on work. He creates many perks to motivate employees, and one of them is positive corporate culture. Larry Page often gives goals that are challenging and some direction for his employees to achieve work. Page also instructs top-level managers to work and interact with their staff to make them feel comfortable in working and to be more innovative. Page said that Google should be like a family, so he tried to make this workplace of Google become a real family. He wants to make his employees achieve effectiveness in their work and to think that Google is one of the best places to work. In Google, there is a gym for Googlers after a hard working day, a canteen for eating delicious food and drinks, a library with lots of books to read, and they can even bring pets to workplace. No one could think that the place where working in technology, making difficult code, is colorful. Another important thing is salary. Google is well known for a huge salary, with the lowest being around $41,000 per year. These things can help Google's employees become productive, more creative, and have collaboration. Larry Page uses a contingent reward approach to provide incentives and employee benefits like the title of Employee of the Month to the high-performing employees. Now we come to the final part of the POLC framework, controlling. Indeed, human resource management has become more and more vital in recent years. However, only a few companies can do this that well, and Google, specifically Larry Page, is one of them. Larry cares for equity and believes in providing each Googler with equal chance of growth and development. There are also some benefits for good performance and drawbacks for bad one. The essential factor is collaboration. Employees are encouraged to teach and learn from each other in the company. This includes business skills such as public speaking, management, or other activities like playing sport. Employee ideas and suggestions are also being considered when developing a product. Being a Googler can obtain lots of advantage and perks include flexible work hours, casual clothes, free meals and snacks, gym, etc. These perks are an important part of the human resource strategy in order to inspire motivation, dedication, and cooperation. Google realized the importance of self-awareness and now applies self-evaluation at the beginning step in the performance review process. They control employees' quality and production through the feedback named 360-degree upward feedback surveys for the managers, and always encourage face-to-face meetings between the people working as a team. Start off with 360-degree feedback. To begin, Google tries to evaluate the overall goals for each individual. Before 2013, employees were told to list 3 to 5 things about what they did well and what they should improve on. But now, thanks to the 360-degree feedback, respondents are asked to write down just one thing that they should do more or could do differently. Consequently, the people rating through the feedback can better understand the results and establish specific objectives for improvement. Then, the search engine company assesses each employee's contributions. They will obtain information about the Google's specific projects, their roles, and their performance on it. A template of feedback also forces the respondent to write everything about the projects. Google set a limit for demonstration to only 512 characters. Based on their writing, managers can judge employees' accomplishments. Moreover, directors wanting to believe more on the result can ask the staff to rate how they are involved with the project. This way, we have the supervisor a lot in understanding exactly what their people are doing. After that, managers will collect the feedback regularly. It is amazing that Google do much more feedback than we initially thought. They share that they were free to solicit feedback on specific topics at any time in the year, rather than waiting for a single day. Finally, the staff received the result from the director. Google has a systematic process for supervisors to share the result. Besides, managers have a handout about what to cover and things for employees to consider. Employees just have a meeting with the supervisor to ask for what they should change in the future. With upward feedback surveys, it's about having the manager being evaluated. Within 2 years of starting this, the average score of managers rose by 5%. Through doing this, directors are also encouraged to share their results and start a conversation with their employees. And as you can see from the screen, these are the 12 questions Google asks their employees about their management, and they can give feedback to the manager so that the manager can improve themselves. Managers at Google are encouraged to hold frequent one-on-one meetings with their employees. According to a research, Google shared that common traits among successful teams is psychological safety. In addition, there are some said that top-rated managers were the ones who usually had one-on-one meetings. Because of these two reasons, managers should spend more time with their team to improve employee development. The meetings can help to create an engagement, strengthen the relationship for the team project. Last but not least, Google has a famous tool for setting ambitious goals called OKRs, Objectives and Key Results. It was first used when John Doe introduced Larry Page and Sergey Brin. John Doe had learned about this tool when he worked at Intel. Google actually adopted OKR in 1999 and witnessed a shift in the way their employees work. Through the simple template, including just 2 parts with our objectives and key results, the OKR help Googlers to manage their work, set their attention, and be committed to their project. The objective is clear, short, encouraging, and must be ambitious. This is really suited for Larry Page's intention. Each Googler has to think big, and sometimes their results are bad. However, the result is not the most important aspect at Google, since the company believes in the progress of achieving the uncomfortable goals. Through that, the objective can give Google's manager a chance to find out the ones who work best and be passionate with challenges. The key results need to be lucid too and also measurable. At Google, employees have 4 to 6 OKRs per quarter. They also have OKRs at different levels, such as personal, team, and management. Everyone works together to ensure that their company is on track in terms of hitting their targets. This is good tool for the controlling system at Google, because every OKR will be public to every person at the company. Therefore, each person has to show their performance and evaluate the quality of others. And that is the end of our presentation. So what do you guys think? If you guys had any comments, please let us know and we will improve it in our next presentation. Bye!